That's the one. A wild day in the NFL. Nothing was more wild than a crazy ending to this Lions-Steelers game. Let's head to Detroit. Jared Goff and the Lions hosting Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers. We pick it up. 11 seconds left in the first half. Steelers trail 10-3. Aaron Rodgers taking a shot, Neek.
Oh, my God.
It's unfortunate as a DB to watch that. I know it's a linebacker, but you're going to call pass interference in ridiculous one-handed catch, and the highlight's going to play it over and over and over.
I'm also
Incredible
shocked
catch.
the Lions were like, let's play man coverage in this situation with 14 seconds.
That's what the Lions do.
Initially ruled an incompletion. It's overturned. Gainwell scores. Steelers tie it up 10 at the half. Early fourth. Steelers leading 15-10. Pittsburgh with a 2nd and 5 near midfield. Jalen Warren. See ya, Dio.
Outstanding job by Warren cutting back. Everyone's like, well, where's the safety? DK Metcalf was opposite. Those defensive backs and safeties got to pay a little bit of attention. Really good cut, explosive run.
Steelers leading 22-10. Next Lions drive, 4th and 2 on the Pittsburgh 27. Khalif Raymond outrunning the defense, 27-yard touchdown. Lions back in it, 22-17.
Some life, Joe, some life.
Little bit of life, but here we go, Coach. Jalen Warren again. You figured we'd make the adjustments, right?
God, I hate this right here. Horrible run defense all day for the Lions.
All 3 Steelers touchdowns were from exactly 45 yards. Ensuing Lions drive under 5 minutes to play. 3rd and goal, 4-yard line. DL, what do we have?
A nice job by Jahmyr Gibbs in the flat. Need to have it kind of a condensed formation. Really good job getting the ball out.
Here's where it gets interesting. Following the Steelers' missed field goal under 2 minutes to play. Lions going for it. 4th and 2 from their own 35. Looks like it's over. Penalty.
Yeah, this one is kind of bang, slowed down. It looks like he gets there a blink of an eye sooner, but if this isn't thrown, I'm not sitting there going, that should be
I like that,
PI.
Dan. I like that.
That one's close.
We can be friends.
We're going to get into one that's
in
not.
the drive. 2nd and 10. Goff to Amon-Ra St. Brown. 24-yard drive. Lions threatening, and this is where it gets good. 30 seconds remaining. Lions, 1st and goal from the 1. Easy peasy. Look at this, Orlovsky.
Yeah, this is a terrible pass interference. It's just sprint right. You're trying to get the outside receiver to go down and create traffic. He goes down. He gets pushed into the safety. He's just trying to finish his route and get through. That is not offensive pass interference.
Isaac Tesla gets called for it, but the Lions still have a chance. We're 4th and goal now. Now take a look at this. Amon-Ra St. Brown, does he have it? What a stop by the Steelers. There's flags. He laterals, of all people. It's Jared Goff into the end zone. The Lions appear to have won. The refs converge. No one's happy about any of this. Neek, take me through what's happening here.
Yeah, cheating is what's happening here. This is a good call. He ran right to him and threw both arms out, full extension, created separation. And then after that, the play after that was some really instinctive stuff, and it was impressive. But
So
don't cheat.
We get a 2nd offensive PI there, and because the clock had run out, the game ends. Steelers 29-24. Here's Jared Goff.
The one where Saint caught it that we thought was a touchdown. In my opinion, that's a bad call. And I don't but those happen. Listen, man, they got a tough job and they make calls that go our way all the time.
The intervention I saw from those refs late in that game, I've never seen 2 offensive PIs to lose a game like that.
Rare moment in sports talk where we will break down what may have been a controversial call. Doesn't happen very often in the sports world, but that's where we are going to begin today. Coach, did they get it right?
They got the last one right, but they certainly got the previous one dead ass wrong. Like the defensive guy on the St. Brown touchdown, he's the guy that initiated the contact right here on Tesla. He initiated the contact. This is an awful call, and unfortunately, it cost the Lions a win here and probably a playoff spot. So this is atrocious right here. Now on the other, the last one, okay, the last one clearly it was a PI by Amon-Ra St. Brown. Yes, he goes in, and as soon as he extends with both hands, it's a penalty. So right here you see, right here he jumps into Ramsey and puts both hands on him. That's going to be called, and that's the appropriate call. All right. What St. Brown has to do in that situation, understand this is going to be a 3-man rush by Pittsburgh. And quite honestly, it was only a 2-man rush here. You're going to have time. You don't need to get the separation. You have plenty of time. And unfortunately, that was the outcome. But, there's no 2 ways about it. The first one to St. Brown was a touchdown. Absolute touchdown.
Can I offer a little bit of, I agree with you guys that play is never called. But you guys being a little disingenuous when you're saying that Tesla is trying to run his route. That's the way the play is designed.
Right.
He ran it effectively. They never call it, but he is intentionally trying to set that pick and screen. I agree in this situations, I've never seen that call, but I understand the referee's rationale. And I think the Lions would also say that while this was the last call or one of the final calls that helped to decide this game, that's not the reason why they lost.
No.
The reason why they lost because they had big explosive runs being made time after time in that game. That's what killed them.
Yeah. I agree with the refereeing and all that. I think the first one's a miss. The second one's the right call. The bigger takeaway for me is I think it's one of the most impressive wins by anybody in the NFL this year by Pittsburgh. I would have not guessed that Pittsburgh would have gone into Detroit and whooped Detroit on both sides of the line of scrimmage. This is a defense in Pittsburgh that everybody was running the football on. Detroit could not run the ball at all. And then vice versa, this is an offense that, running the ball is like, let's just be efficient, and they create the explosive runs. And the other part is this. In the last 3 weeks, I would tell you that Aaron Rodgers is throwing the football the best that he has since 2022. So we're talking 3+ years, this 3-week stretch of throwing the ball and some of the throws that he has made. So if this offense is going to have some of these explosive runs and Rodgers is going to do whatever he wants with the football, this is a team that has my attention more after this performance than it had up until a month ago.
So a few weeks ago, the fans in Pittsburgh were calling for Mike Tomlin's job.
We do this every year. We do it every year.
Fire Tomlin! Fire Tomlin! Since then, they've won 3 straight games, and let me remind you, for all the talk there's been about the Baltimore Ravens, ESPN bet saying the Ravens are going to win the division when they're 1-5. The Steelers now are 1 win away from putting away the AFC North. 1 win or 1 Ravens loss, and the team that wants its head coach fired, the fans that want their head coach fired, will be the division champs in the AFC North.
You know what else was impressive yesterday? Everybody for Pittsburgh, their touches mattered. Like Adam Thielen's been there for 2 weeks. Adam Thielen has 3 or 4 huge catches. DK Metcalf obviously has some big catches. Jonnu Smith and his impact, both backs. And so you're looking at all these different kind of role players fitting into this offense, and now everybody's not wasting opportunities. They're all taking advantage of them. And with Rodgers is doing so many different little things that is enhancing everybody's role in kind of elevating their role.
That's why I'm surprised that you said he's throwing the ball better than he ever has. That's a very specific thing. Because since 2022.
No,
I get that, but that's not what I've been impressed with by Aaron Rodgers, his ability to throw the ball so far this season or in these last 2 games. I think it's the mental part, it's the getting the guys involved, getting them in and out of bad plays, because I didn't see a bunch of great throws from him yesterday. He had some good throws in the last few weeks, but that's not what's leading this offense, making it better. Of course, it's that explosive run game, and as many schemes as you come up with, there are 2 things in football that'll never change. You can't win if you can't stop the run. You can't win if you can't run the ball consistently. They did both those things.
Sorry for interrupting there again. Coach, what does this mean now for the Lions moving forward? Do we feel like their window for the Super Bowl may have closed yesterday with the Saints?
No chance. I mean, I don't see that. And here's why I say it. I know Dan and I totally disagree on this one. Look, that's the 2nd-rated offense in the National Football League. They score over 30 points a game, okay? And the defense can't be worse, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's no way it can be worse. So I think, yes, did it close out this year? Yeah, they're going to make the playoffs this year? Yeah, it doesn't look like it, okay? But it's unfortunate because I'm going to tell you, if they would have made the playoffs, no team would have wanted to play them. Why? Because that offense is that explosive. Now, this game, Dan, you talked about an impressive performance by Pittsburgh.
Yeah. On the line of scrimmage, absolutely.
They outgained the Detroit Lions by 215 yards.
In Detroit.
If anybody, they would have said, somebody's going to outgain the other team by 215 yards. We would have all thought Detroit was going to run the ball down their throat. They got to look at something. Here's the deal. The difference to me in that game. The edges by Pittsburgh, and Highsmith in particular, the guards on paper, it looked like, we got this. No, you don't. TFLs, they couldn't close the edge. And what happened is, this is what happens when you don't have a running quarterback or an athletic quarterback, because you're not going to play that the same way. because of the bootlegs and all that type of stuff. But Pittsburgh knew it. That was their night.
Funny how the game has changed around the quarterback. But I was surprised that you said that you disagree with Dan. So, Dan, you think the window's closed?
I have too much respect for Brad Holmes, the general manager, and Dan Campbell to say, like, it's closed.
Yeah.
I tell two things, though. One, this rebuild has been built at the line of scrimmage mainly on the offensive line. The offensive line was the strength. It became the calling card. The offensive line has become the weakness in Detroit. So that gives me concern. You're not just snapping your fingers and all of a sudden becoming that dominant offensive line again. And then also, their best players have been their cheapest players. And they're going to have to pay the piper at some point here in the next probably year with a bunch of contracts.
And that is what they have in their future. They have to figure out a way to pay Jahmyr Gibbs, Sam Laporta, Brian Branch, Jack Campbell if they want. Can't pay everybody. They don't have that much cap room. Here it is. They're essentially $23 million now over the salary cap.
I could see Jared Goff wanting a new deal, too.
I mean, they might give him a new deal. I mean, normally, like, you get a new deal in order to, like, amortize the cost, and they can fix it. They have all those problems, but they also need to rebuild the interior of that offensive line if they think they're going to be good again.
Here's the deal. The window hasn't closed, but last year was an incredible opportunity that they didn't get done.
That's the point.
Same with the year before.
They may never have a better opportunity than last year, but they'll have other opportunities ahead.
I want to ask you about something else. The game took an unfortunate turn in the second quarter when wide receiver DK Metcalf was involved in this altercation with a fan. The Detroit Free Press spoke to the fan who said he called Metcalf by his full name, DeKalen Zacharias Metcalf, prompting the incident. Metcalf exited the locker room without taking questions from reporters after the win. Schefter, what can you tell us about this?
Well, that was one angle of the video. There's another one that he walked over that might have been even worse. And so the league is going to look at this, and it's hard to imagine in a year where the league has doled out as many one-game suspensions as it has that it's not going to hit up DK Metcalf with a suspension here. So when the Steelers are trying to put away the division this weekend against Cleveland, I think right now people around the league believe it would be a surprise if DK Metcalf is still there. I don't care what the fans, like when I heard that, I'm like, oh, I wonder what that fan's saying. But you cannot walk over. You cannot put your hands on fans. By the way, I applaud the players many times for restraining themselves, that we don't see it more. But here, he did something you just can't do.
We will be following this story closely.